You may ask why I'm walking through the garden with a milk carton. I'm about to tell you. Hi, I'm Robin. Welcome to Robin's Container Garden. The good old milk carton. What would we do without it? It would be really hard to store the milk if we didn't have this. In addition to that, it also comes in handy when you're looking to work in the garden. One of the things that I use the milk cartons for is that I split them up. I cut them into little slices, and I use those as my seed labels. They're very durable. The plastic in the milk carton is food safe, so it doesn't leach into the soil, and they're reusable. All I have to do is put a little soap and water and some elbow grease in there, and I've got a nice little reusable plant label. Now, what I'm going to show you today is how I'm using these as planters. They're like little mini greenhouses, and I'm going to show you how I'm going to plant some stuff outside while it's cold, which makes no sense, to see if I can't get some head starts on a few things and make things a little bit more likely to be hardy once it's time to move them from here into the containers where they're going to be growing.
I'm having to bend right down here because the light in here is terrible right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do some winter sowing. And this is going to help me kind of get over that kind of hump of I need to plant something. It's also going to solve the problem of the space where to put seedlings. Because these guys, once they get planted out, they're going straight outside. So you need to make sure that you have a milk carton and that it is cleaned out. Take the lid off. Okay, so that is going to help give it some air. And you cut around the edge until you have like a wee hinge. I've put it on the side where the handle is to make it easier to pull that back. Now, another thing you're going to need to do is to make sure you have drainage holes in here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to poke holes. I'm using my little cork mat so I don't go through to the counter. But I'm just going to poke holes in with my sharp side of my scissors. Give myself plenty of drainage holes. So now you can see there's some drainage holes in here, and that way when it rains or if you water them, then they're not going to drown. So the next thing I need to do is to fill these up with compost. Now we've got the containers sort of filled. I mean, we've got enough to do seedlings in here. So I'm not sifting this, and I'm doing that on purpose because I'm trying to sort of mimic what soil would be like outside at this time of year. So I've not done that on purpose. What I'm going to plant are things that I want an early start for. So one of them is kale that's like a Brussels sprout cross. They're called flower sprouts. And they're going to go in. And then I'm going to do the black Tuscan kale. I'm going to be doing that too. And I'm going to be doing some pak choi, white stem and red stem. Thanks, Eli. I see these on your channel and I need to plant them. And I'm also going to try lupins. So these don't have to be hardy seedlings because they won't come up until the soil's warm enough for them to germinate. That's the idea. I have no idea if it works. And this is an experiment. First time I've ever done it. So I'm going to give it a shot and see how well it works. So you definitely need your milk carton. You need a pair of scissors. You need some compost. You need black permanent marker. You need some water, and I'll get that in a minute. And you need some tape, because once you plant these seeds in here, You're going to tape that closed. It's not going to have to be completely closed, but you're going to tape it closed, leaving this top open. You're going to tape it closed and then forget about it. That's the idea. So we're going to see if it works. So the first thing I'm going to do is going to try these flower sprouts. This is a new seed for me. I don't know what they're like. There's not tons of them in here. Let's see, that's it. That's all that's in there. So that's all I've got left. I tried sowing these some other time. They obviously don't, there are 20 seeds in a pack. So, you know, if this doesn't work, then I'll just have to buy some more seeds. But what I'm going to do is I'm just going to sow them there on the top. These must be really like valuable. They're like tomato seeds, because tomato seeds, you don't get very many of those either in most packs. So I'm just covering that up just a wee bit, just tamping that down. And then I'll water this before I put it outside. Or I might put it outside and then water it. That's probably what I'll do. Making sure that all those valuable seeds are covered up. I hope this works, because if it doesn't work, I'm in trouble. And then I'm going to write on it, flower sprouts, kale, brock. So I don't get them mixed up with a flower. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to tape this baby shut. I'm going to try to tape this baby shut. Okay, start on the bottom and see if that works better. This is fiddly. It would be better with two hands, but I've only got, well, two sets of hands. I've only got one set. Okay, that'll do. That'll do. That leaves a little bit of opening in the back for some more air circulation. So there's those done. Black Tuscan kale. Fiddly, fiddly, fiddly. So this is pak choi. Caught that one just at the right angle, I think. Choi red. Let's see if we can pull this thing. Oh, I've got a technique now. Do you see that? Oh, I'd be worried about writing the type on there, but these are Pixie Delight. So now we've done the sewing, and what we're going to do is, I didn't water these before I closed them up, so I'm just going to water them with the sprayer through the top. But I'm gonna get these put outside, so I'll bring you with me. Okay, so there we are. We've got the all of the milk cartons put out here. And they are in a sheltered spot, so they're not going to get any wind. They're right up against these other containers out here, as you can see, kind of surrounding them. So they're also on the west side of the house, so hoping that that will keep them safe, and we will keep checking in with them and kind of go see what happens. That's what experiments are for, though, right? You don't know until you do it to try to figure out whether it's going to work. So hopefully these things will work, and I'll let you know. We're back on the front porch because we have these beautiful crocus. I'll do a closer video of these. And there's some iris reticulata that are out here as well. Got a few crocus that are on down at the last one as well. But I've even got some daffodils heading here. And the tulip leaves are starting to push up. So these are my bulbosonias from last year. I didn't actually do anything with them. Shh, don't tell anybody. When they finished flowering last year, my intentions were to
pull the bulbs out, put them in a paper bag, stick them in the house, let them sit dormant, and then put them back in either the ground or in a container. But I forgot about them. There was so many other things in the garden that was going on at the same time that I just ignored them. I left them alone. They got cut back, and I put them at the end of the house, and I didn't water them. I didn't feed them. I did nothing with them. I noticed that the leaves were starting to push up again, and I thought, holy crap, I completely forgot about these things. So I moved them around here back into the positions that they were in last year, and they are going absolutely mental. There's more crocus in there than I planted last year, or year before last, for last year. So they must have split, which is fantastic for me. And I think they're even bigger than they were. I'm sure these crocus here, these white ones, and there's a yellow one back here, I'm sure those are bigger than the ones that came out last year. So I'm like super excited. I did feed them, so I'm hoping that that food will help a little bit and make them even more beautiful and more vibrant this year than they were last year. So we will have to wait and see. But that just goes to show you, not everybody's on top of everything. I'm definitely not on top of everything, but I'm working on it. I did these milk carton little mini greenhouse things about a week and a half ago, I want to say. About a week and a half ago, I think. And we already have seedlings in a couple of them. I'm hoping that it's warm enough in the container, in the milk carton, to keep them warm enough so they don't die off. We are having some pretty cold weather at the moment, so we'll just have to wait and see how it turns out. Again, this is an experiment. I'm all about the experiments. I gotta wait and see what happens. I am going to start planting in earnest in March. Put it off as long as I possibly can. I have diaried it so I can actually look at it and say, okay, I've got X number of days before I can start planting. So I'm gonna start planting the first weekend of March. That's going to be the peppers, and it's going to be the aubergines. I'm really excited about an amazing experiment that I'm doing for the peppers this year. And but you're going to have to wait and see. If you don't want to miss that video or any of the other stuff that's coming up for this season, don't forget to subscribe and push the notification bell so you don't miss any of the videos. Now, here comes the big question. What are you dying to plant? Have you already broken, and have you started planting? Are you going to plant anything in the little milk carton greenhouses that I talked about in this video? So please let me know in the comments, because I want to know. I want to know everything. Even though we're having a little bit of a cold spell at the moment, things are definitely springing. The daylight's coming back in the morning, staying a little bit later in the evening, and there's flowers poking up right here. I see life coming back. The birds are singing and everything. So I'm very, very, very excited about all of the things that spring holds for everybody. So all the life and all the color is starting to come back to the world, and this is one of my favorite seasons. And I'm looking forward to all of the great things that I'm going to be growing this year in the garden, that's going to be filling up our plates and filling up our freezer. And remember, you don't have to grow all the things. Just grow something. Until next time, bye y'all.